Yes, I am so excited to tell you what we're not going to do today because if you've watched the Fumble Live for any length of time, you know one of my favorite things in the world is crime TV. And every now and then you reach a situation where sports give you something that should be featured on true crime, and this is one of them. For those of you who grew up in the 90s, this is going to sound like a very familiar story, but you know, we bringing it back. We're revamping so much in this world anyway, so we might as well revamp crime. So let me show you this picture. This first young lady. So this is, and I apologize if I'm going to annihilate these names, but this is Kheira Hamraoui. Kheira Hamraoui. She is a French footballer, and she's a midfielder in the on a Division One soccer team in France. Okay, so this is her. Now she's the starter on that team. So this next young lady is Aminata Diallo. So let me show you her next. This is Aminata Diallo. She is actually pretty good as well, but she is the backup. She hasn't really got much playing time this season because she's the backup to Kheira. So obviously the two of them are on the same team. They've probably built up some sort of camaraderie or whatever. So there was a team dinner where Aminata says, "Hey, you know, let me drive you home." You know, and she's like, "Okay, cool." So they jump into the car. And this was last week. They get in the car. They're going home from this team event when all of a sudden a group of men in ski masks accost the car. I love that. Accost the car. And they drag out Hamraoui. And they drag out Aminata as well. But they drag them both out. Now, they only kind of just detain Aminata Diallo. They only detain her. But then Kheira Hamraoui, they have metal bars and they bust up her legs and they bust up her hands. So that meant that she was in recovery. So while she was in recovery from those injuries, then Diallo got to take Hamraoui's place. And so she was in the starting lineup on Tuesday. They had this huge match against Real Madrid. That's a huge championship match. It's a championship league match. So it's a big deal for her to get that start in that game. Because again, like I said, she'd been the backup this entire time and I tried to see if she got any minutes. She didn't get many minutes at all this season. So yay, that's the come up for her. But then now we have a statement that's been released by the team. Paris Saint-Germain can confirm that Aminata Diallo was taken into custody this morning by Versailles Regional Police Service as part of the proceedings opened following an attack on the club's players last Thursday. Paris Saint-Germain condemns this in the strongest possible terms, the violence committed. Paris is working with Versailles police to clarify the facts. The club is paying close attention to the progress of the proceedings and will take action. So the claim is that Aminata hired the assailants that drug Hamraoui out of the car and busted up her legs. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. The fact that Aminata walked away with zero injuries. This is how you know people don't watch crime TV. Because if you're going to commit a crime, you should do at least some research. There is no way nobody wasn't going to raise an eyebrow at this when, first of all, they didn't. There was no reports of them robbing either one of you. There was no reports of you getting any kind of injuries. I think they said she needed like a couple stitches from a scratch that she had on her arm or something like that. Meanwhile, your girl, and they specifically bust up her legs and her hands. So obviously that was a targeted attack. You wanted to hobble her in some way and you didn't get any injuries at all. How are people not going to look into that? How are people not going to be suspicious of that? That would have been my first thought. As the coach, as her family, that would have been my first thought, was like, oh, this is a setup. Would I have immediately thought it was the girl that was in the car with me? Yes. And the reason for that is because if it hadn't been her, she would have sustained some injuries as well. At least some injuries that would have probably kept her out of the game as well. There's no way I'm beat to hell and she just walking around here willy-nilly and can all of a sudden take my spot. And the fact that she's my backup, you're the immediate suspect in this situation. Now, for those of you, like I said, if you grew up in the 90s, you feel like that Aminata just watched this whole thing that happened between Nancy Kerrigan. Y'all remember the figure skater? So Nancy Kerrigan was, Tanya Hardin got her ex-husband to go bust up her knees. So it's almost like Amita was watching this because they, every couple years they play that documentary. It's almost like she sat there and watched that documentary and was like, "Ooh, that's a fantastic idea," and skipped over the whole fact where Tanya Hardin got caught. So I don't know what her thought process was in this. I don't know why she thought she was going to get away with this. It boggles my mind. I can't wait to see this documentary come out or this little mini series come out because it's coming. But look, if you're going to commit the crime, there's tons of documentaries that you can watch that'll make you go, "Ooh, maybe that's not my best plan. I'm never going to get away with this." And then you just don't do it. Chris, why do you think she thought that, hey, if I'm in the car with her, but they don't hit me, it's not going to look suspicious? Like, she didn't, why didn't this register with her?
So did they, when did the attack happen? I don't know if you know all this detail, but did they already leave? Or like, did it happen like as soon as they got in the car? I might have missed that part.
So they went out to dinner. Amita asked Hamraoui, "Hey, let me take you home." That's strike number one. You volunteered to take her home.
And they left.
And she was the driver. Amita was the driver. Okay. So they left. Okay. You're driving down the street. At some point, they came to a stop. I didn't see if it was a stop sign, stop light, whatever. At some point, they come to a stop. Okay. And then a group of men come to both sides of the car, drag her out of the passenger side, drag Hamraoui out the passenger. Well, it might be their cars is backward over there, but whatever. Drag them both out and then bust up. And that's all they did. They busted up her legs, busted up her hands, and then ran away. Like, at least have them steal some stuff.
Right. That's the thing. You know them. That's what she at least could have done. She got she got to take a hit and then have them take your whole purse or have them take your wallet or something like that, because you're gonna get it back. That's what I was saying. So my initial thought was it happened as soon as they got in the car. Because my thing was like, if that's when it happened, she could have played the classic trick like, "Oh, damn, I think I left my phone inside," and then gone inside. And while she left, then she gets jumped, but she's not there for it to happen. You know what I mean? But if it happened when I missed the part where she had already left, so I got that takes that out of there. But yeah, man, you gotta take a hit. Like, you gotta know that it's gonna be suspicious if you come out there clean. You gotta take a hit. You know these people. Let them take your phone. Let them take your wallet. You're gonna get them back. So yeah, there's a lot of holes in it. But you also could have not done it at all, because you were going to get caught. Like Jackie said, there's every show you can watch, you were going to get caught. Tanya, there's a whole movie on her getting caught, and she still tried to play we were divorced. I did not stop. So there's so many ways that could have got handled for sure.
Yeah, and they still. So now here's the other part of it. They haven't found the men who did this. They're about to, because she's about to squeal like a canary just to try to avoid some charges. She's about to name everybody involved, and everybody about to go to jail. Just so you know.
My neighbor told me to do it, and then my ex-boyfriend told me about the two people. Their name is John and Jeremy. Like, she just told everybody.
Right. She man. Everybody going to jail. So just can't wait to stay up on that and see how this one plays out. But this is going to come out in some sort of docuseries very shortly.